And we're back. Okay, let's do this. Video 5, make your own game. Let's go.
We're going to take a look at the beautiful lighting effects and the really neat particle effects.
Particle effects are cool.
We're going to get a logic piece that can control movement of either our character or our enemy. So a whole lot of awesome to get to, so let's get to it.
Let's do it.
Creating an in-game economy is a great way to create goals and reward players, all of which adds to player retention. Providing coins to collect in the game gives the player a way to build up a currency for that economy, empowering the user to unlock characters.
I like that idea, but I don't like the word coins.
Maybe even
like anything else but coins.
In-app purchase using real money. So let's start to build our in-game economy by importing a coin to collect. We'll just select the entire PNG sequence for our coin and drag it into Buildbox, dropping it on the action option.
Ooh,
drag in,
finally get to use an action.
Let's select the action in the Assets panel and make sure we name it something easy to find in the scene tree. Also, actions can be tied to buttons, so make sure you name your actions so you can reference them in those buttons settings. Alright, so let's check out.
Wait, did he say where? UI? Maybe it's UI. These are... Oh, here's the videos I'm making right now. Coin shop? No. New enemy? Extras, maybe. Coin animation. Yep. Okay, let's continue. Oh, wait, hold up. Action. Ah, here it is. And now we just have to wait because my computer is a really good computer, but it just takes time. Man. Oh, save it. Oh my god, I haven't saved it. Save. Command S. It hasn't crashed yet, which is great, but I have had it crash. What are we doing? Looking at the event collider. I think it's here. Bam. And let's continue with the video, shall we?
Collision shape and make the appropriate changes to our collision shape, but this time we want to go in the opposite direction with our forgiving philosophy about collision shapes, because this is something the player will want to hit. So let's make it plenty easy for them to do so.
Sure.
There are many different types of actions that can be created in Buildbox. A coin that we already discussed as being the currency for our in-game economy. A kill all enemies action, which will kill all the active enemies in the scene.
Wait, what's he doing?
Enemies with wake components that are not yet active will live through the action, but otherwise, using this will take some tweaking if we don't want to sterilize our scene of all the aesthetics. Invincibility, which
action
will make our
type.
player survive anything that would normally kill it. We are going to add an invincibility power-up in just a bit. A power-up magnet, which is an action that when collected will attract all the other actions on the screen.
I think this is also in the manual.
Strike is an action that will kill all enemies in contact with the player. Set checkpoint will save the user's
understand that. Set checkpoint. That's a good one.
Move the player to the next set checkpoint and restart.
That could be like a teleportation.
You start the character at the last set checkpoint touched. And finally, an action that changes gameplay options. So when selected, gameplay properties will appear at the bottom of the options, and this is a mix of world and character settings. The action animation is the animation that happens when the action is collected by the player, and the animation can take place at the character where the action was when it was touched or displayed full screen, and the animation can overlay or replace those options. We have sound options here for the action. Remember, Buildbox will accept MP3s. Just drag them into the settings here. And the property section, you can set actions to reward coins or points and show either upon collection. The duration is how many seconds the action will remain in effect. And the appearance chance is what % chance the action has of showing up in the game.
That's cool.
We have options to trigger a camera shake or camera flat.
Don't really know what most of these do, but appearance chance, got that bad boy.
When the action is collected in seconds, so a 5 in each will
These are
shake
cool.
the camera for 5 seconds.
I like this. I think this is a cool feature of Buildbox. Oh shit, not like that.
Let's set
that's
our
excessive.
action to coin with its animation placement at the character as an overlay and reward 2 coins per collection. Let's duplicate a run of them along the wall here and have a look at our action in action, pun intended. Working perfectly, but we're missing the ability to keep track of how many coins we have. So let's fix that. Let's click on the menu editor button in the upper left and Buildbox will take us up into the menu editor. Let's double click on the world UI.
This is cool.
Game, and in here we see our switch I mentioned in part 4 when we talked about advanced moves. We also see.
I think this is important for any game where you're like keeping count of course in this scenario coins, but just like anything, taps or whatever. Let's
pause button we replaced in part 1, and let's add a label to the UI. In fact, we are going to add 2 labels. So let's drag the first one into the upper left, and let's make sure it's in line with the center of the pause button by copying the position from the pause button.
Wait, did he move that out?
Pasting it into the labels position. Now the function of this label will be user text, and we want it to display the word coins, not the amount. That will be a different label, just the word coins. And now, instead of dragging in a new one, let's duplicate this label to the right so that it stays perfectly in line. We'll just hit D to duplicate it to the right. Now, let's change what this label displays by changing its function to score, keeping track of all the worlds, even though we currently only have one, and change it to count coins.
I wonder why this got moved over here. And then I also wonder if I can add different fonts. Made 2 games, and I like looking at different fonts and or typeface. But it's probably advanced. I'm sure it's easy. Oh, or they use images actually. If you think about it, for a lot of,
And I want to keep track of all the coins we have ever collected, so the user knows if they finally have enough for something they've been wanting.
Ooh, I like the best. I use that in my games.
To divide the coin shop, which we will create later in this series. And let's have a peek at how the UI will keep track of our coins now. Pretty hard to see. Let's make a few adjustments. Let's go up into the font editor and see what we can do with it. This window can be resized, so get it nice and big if you like. And let's start by adding a new font by clicking Add in the lower left. Let's call this font Coin Tracker. And let's change the main color to show up better against our background, but not too crazy. Let's hide the switch in the main menu tree so it isn't in the way, and I'll use the eyedropper to select the color.
This is great. This is the font I have on my computer.
Let's also turn off the gradient, and let's close the font editor and make sure our font selection for our new label is set to our new font. Use the eyedropper to select pretty hard and see what we can do with it. This window can be resized, so get it nice and big if you like. And let's start by adding a new font by clicking Add in the lower left. Let's call this font Coin Tracker. And let's change the main color to show up better against our background, but not too crazy. Let's hide the switch in the main menu tree so it isn't in the way, and I'll use the eyedropper to select the color of our pause button. Let's also turn off the gradient, and let's close the font editor and make sure our font selection for our new label is set set to our new font, and let's have a look at our label now. That looks much better. Let's just make the adjustments to our new font, and let her make sure our let's also turn off the gradient, not too crazy. Let's hide the switch in the main menu tree.
I don't understand. Why are you hiding the switch? What's this? What is the switch? The switch is covered around the whole thing. So I think that's where you tap. Oh hey, here's that tap to move button. I don't like that font. I'll adjust it later. I'm gonna save. Oh, here we go. How did you bring up the color pen thing?
Not too crazy. Let's hide the switch in the main menu tree so it isn't in the way, and
I feel like I just what? Is that a separate app or?
And let's change the main color to show it better against our background, but not too crazy. Let's hide the switch in the main menu tree so it isn't.
So you just press this button. Oh, and you got this thing. And then the eyedropper. And then, oh, cool. I'm going to go this dark little square.
Use the eyedropper to select the color of our pause button. Let's also turn off the gradient, and let's close the font editor and make sure our font selection for our new label is set to our new font. And let's have a look at our label now. That looks much better. Let's just make the adjustments we need to get it looking good. Okay, so now we have coins that we can sprinkle in throughout the game. And let's make that invincibility power-up I mentioned earlier. We'll just select the entire PNG sequence for our power-up and drag it into Buildbox.
Slow down, senor. I think this... so you can't do two at once. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna move it. Hold Shift. I think that should be good, right? Much better. Oh, wait, no, the coins is way... Whoa. Coins is way too far to the Shift. Perfect. Oh, but the coins is also... Okay. I see. So you can change even the action. I'm getting some traction on my Twitter. Okay, let's go.
Dropping it on the action option of the drag and drop wheel. Let's select it in the assets panel.
That's cool. What is that? Power up. Right, that doesn't seem right. Okay, so here, go back into the game, and then move to the action, yep. And that action is a power-up.
G sequence for our power-up, and drag it into Buildbox, dropping it on the action option of the drag and drop wheel. Let's select it in the assets panel, name it, and get our collision shape in order, making sure it's plenty easy to grab. Stick to our forgiving collision shape philosophy, only making it plenty big since this is something the player will want to grab. Okay, let's set the action type to invincibility, and let's drag in our animation for the invincibility. mainly as a way to communicate its lifespan. We always want to have a way to tell our player when invincibility is going to end, so be sure to have a creative solution for that communication. Let's go into the invincibility actions animation editor and
slow down, senor. Alright, I'll make it a little bit bigger because that is what he's recommended because people are going for this bad boy. Don't know how to. Oh, okay, you're already there making the countdown.
adjust our speed to play our invincibility is going to end. Type to name it.
Yeah, well, I just got this done, so now we take this and we drag it. Yay! Do I name it? I don't know. Do I name it? Oh, didn't see that. Invincibility. That is totally not how you spell that. What the fuck? Okay, what are we doing?
And get our collision shape in order, making
Yep.
sure it's plenty easy to grab. Stick to our forgiving collision shape philosophy, only making it plenty big since this is something the player will want to grab. Okay, let's set the action type to invincibility.
Nice.
And let's drag in our animation for the invincibility, mainly as a way to communicate its lifespan. We always want to have a way to tell our player when invincibility is going to end, so be sure to have a creative solution for that communication. Let's go
So these
to
are just
the
images,
Invincibility
actually.
Actions animation editor and adjust our speed to play our animation for the duration we want. Buildbox will
How did
always
you
play
get to the
animation
animation editor?
adjust our speed to, so be sure to have a creative solution for that communication.
This
Let's
little button.
go into the invincibility actions
Gotta
animation
pay attention
editor
to that.
and adjust our speed to play our animation for the duration we want. Buildbox will always play animations at 30 frames per second, so let's adjust the speed accordingly. Now, we need to set the animation placement and behavior, and also make sure the duration follows our frame time.
Wait, did you
animation. Adjust our speed to play our animation for the duration we want.
Squeeze me. Just take a look. Speed. What does that say? 4 frames. I have 30 frames. Well, I just put that 30.
Buildbox will always play animations at 30 frames per second, so let's adjust the speed accordingly. Now, we need to
Oh. Four. It just seems like mine is not the same as his. Let's go back a little bit.
for that communication. Let's go into the invincibility actions animation editor and adjust our speed.
And then hit this button. Oh, okay, that's what I need to adjust.
To play our animation for the duration we want. Buildbox will.
Oh, and the speed is what, 0001? I also feel like I don't have all the numbers. 3. Oh, okay. But the speed is, maybe if I have speed of 0. Yeah, that's maybe it. Speed of 2. Is it playing now? I'm just gonna put 0, 0.
Always play animations at 30 frames per second. Now, we need to set the animation placement and behavior, and also make sure the duration follows our frame timing we set up in the animation.
So confusing. Here.
Per second. So let's adjust the speed accordingly.
Okay, I think I have everything like they do. I'm just suspicious. Like, unless that says 400. I don't. Okay.
Now, we need to set the animation placement and behavior, and also make sure the duration follows our frame timing we set up in the animation editor. This option is in seconds. And there we go. We can copy and paste that into other scenes or pull it right from the assets panel. The only scene options are placement and animation editor accordingly. So be sure to have a creative solution for that communication. Let's go into and there we go. We can copy and paste that into other scenes or pull it right from the assets panel. The only scene options, and also make sure the duration follows our frame timing we set up in the animation editor. This option is in seconds. And there we go. We can copy and paste that into other scenes, adjust our speed to play it philosophy, only making it plenty big since this is something the player will want to grab. Okay, let's set the action type to invincibility.
Okay, the screen is frozen, so what was that, 8 minutes?
The action option of the drag and drop wheel. Let's select it in the assets panel, name it, and get our collision shape in order, making sure it's plenty easy to grab. Stick to our forgiving collision shape philosophy.
Generous.
Only making it plenty big since this is something the player will want to grab. Okay, let's set the action type to invincibility. And let's drag in our animation for the invincibility, mainly as a way to communicate its lifespan. We always want to have a way to tell our player when invincibility is going to end. So be sure to have a creative solution for that communication. Let's go into the invincibility actions animation editor and adjust our speed to play our animation for the duration we want. Buildbox will always play animations at 30 frames per second, so let's adjust the speed accordingly. Now, we need to set the animation placement and behavior, and also make sure the duration follows our frame timing we set up in the animation editor. This option
4 seconds.
And there we go. We can copy and paste that into other scenes or pull it right from the assets panel. The only scene options are placement and visibility, so there's not a whole lot of setup from here on out. And that's our look at actions. Let's talk about lighting and particle effects. Lighting is a great way to set
Hold up. Well, why are you not an enemy? Alright, there's 2 things. One of them is a spawn. This is a spawner. Every 5 seconds. Object type physics, enemy. Oh, because I was invincible. You know what, let me go ahead and move this up. Stop it. Close. Alright, escape. Okay. But I also don't like how when I touch this guy, it'd be cool if he got blown up. But let's just continue with the video. Like, yeah.
Here, and to use coloring and shadows in creative ways. Let's bring up scene 7, where we have all those wonderful mountain layers and have a play with the lighting effects. To make sure we don't move any of our mountains around, let's lock down everything in the scene before we move on. Okay, so now that it's safe to poke around in the scene, to the far left in the assets panel.
Alright, let's just add some more mountains. Send to back. Send forward. Cool. What were you doing, objects?
Let's open the effects menu and pull a light into our scene. Having the light selected, there are some options we have in the options panel to the far right. We can name the light, so if we have several lights in one scene, we can easily find which one we are looking for in the scene tree. You can see the position changes as I move it around the scene. We can change the radius, making the light larger or smaller. Clicking on the color bar will bring up the color chooser. You can use the eyedropper to select a color or cook up whatever you like. And our lights also have the ability to cast shadows. So let's take a look at what this looks like in the game. Pretty thick, but we can change the opacity to be less obvious. Let's try something around 30%. You can probably start to see how lighting can really get neat if used properly. We can use lights to make some neat effects in the layers of our mountains. Let's turn off the shadows and get a couple lights in those.
Give me a second. Okay, close. Move this over here. And how about not die when hitting low? I want to see what the... Okay, let's move that back. Jeez. Nope. Okay. I'm gonna go to character. See if I can figure this out. I think there was a switch A. I'm gonna move this to switch B, and I'm gonna move switch B. Switch B to switch A. I'm hoping that inverses the direction which the character moves so that I can... No, I don't... Yes, it did it, but the light didn't do anything. What did I forget? What did I miss? Light, maybe light bring to the front, maybe that.
Try something around 30%. You can probably you can use the eyedropper to select a color or cook up whatever you like. And our lights also have the ability to cast
shadow.
So let's take a look at what this looks like.
And that's what I want to see. Let's do 75. Big ass fucking chariots. Oh, that's why I want to hit this button, because, yeah. Where's the shadow? Cast shadow, color black. Let's go. Missing something. Oh, that was it. That was there. Yeah, it's not casting a shadow.
Game. Pretty thick, but we can change.
Is it the color? I don't think so. Okay, so it just doesn't like the color black, which is not fair. But gray. Ah, here we go. Let's test it again just to make sure. So maybe because it was over here, didn't like it? Yeah, I think that was it, because the light was in the wall. If I put the light here, I don't want to put it here so you can't see the... Oh. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm going to change this color to teal turquoise.
The opacity to be less obvious. Let's try something around 30%.
Oh, yeah.
You can probably start to see how lighting can really get neat if used properly. We can use lights to make some neat effects in the layers of our mountains.
Thought I made this shit turquoise.
Shadows and get a couple lights in those mountains. Using the eyedropper to grab colors from our background and our little swirly enemy here, we can layer in some lights and play with their opacity and position to give some interesting ambience to the mountains. Now let's talk about particle effects. The new particle emitter in Buildbox 2 is amazing. It gives us the ability to use it in very creative ways that can achieve all sorts of neat effects in our games. Let's get a blank scene set up and soloed and drag a particle emitter into the center and have a play with it. Having the particle emitter selected, let's click on the Edit button in the Options panel. This will bring up the Particles Editor. Let's use the mouse scroll button to zoom in and hold the space bar while we click and drag to move the editor around. It gives us the ability to use it in very creative ways that can achieve all sorts of neat effects in our games. Let's get a blank scene set up and soloed and drag a particle emitter into the center and have a play.
Blank scene? Which is the easiest scene to copy? I feel like it doesn't matter. Okay, and D. I'm gonna keep the bouncy bounce. Yeah, but why not? Ooh, made that shit fat. Yeah, I like that. like it's cool if it's like going the same way. Delete, grab, copy. Now it's at the same angle. Yeah, okay. Wait, particle, right?
Having the particle emitter selected, let's click on the Edit button in the Options panel. This will bring up the Particles editor. Let's use the mouse scroll button to zoom in and hold the space bar while we click and drag to move the editor around, and let's take a look at the options in this editor. This window can also be resized, so make it as nice and big as you like. Now isn't that beautiful? We can move the position of the emitter around, or we can randomize the X and Y value of its position.
Scroll
For
up
instance,
or down.
if we put a 100 in the X-axis randomizer, the particle will emit at random positions 100 units on either side of 0 along the X-axis. That setting structure is likely familiar to you by now. Let's change that back to 0, and we can rotate the emitter and change the scale. And this is where the emitter gets really fun.
I'll make it smaller.
Let's drag in a new texture for the particle it is emitting. How about our character? Below the texture window are the properties of the particles themselves. Let's go over these. Total particles denotes how many particles to have on the screen at any one time, so a new particle will not be spawned unless existing ones dissipate. If we change this to 3, there will never be more than 3 on the screen at one time. Let's change that to 35. Emission rate is how fast to emit the particles. So if we change this to 1, it will emit 1 particle per second. Let's change that to 10. Checking blend additive means that overlapping
I missed what he
particles
said.
will add to
Okay.
each other,
What?
making the overlapped areas bright.
So emission rate is how fast they come out. So let's do this 10. Oh, 10. And then how fast? So 5. Oh, shit. $500. I don't know the difference. Mission rate 10. I think that's like 10 seconds, maybe 35. I'm gonna back up. Pay attention.
Emission rate is how fast to emit the particles. So if we change this to 1, it will emit 1 particle per second.
As opposed to 10 particles per second.
Check
okay.
Blend additive means that
30.
overlapping particles will add to each other, making the overlapped areas brighter. This is great for spell animations and especially flames. Start size is the size of the particle when it is spawned, and we can randomize that as well. So if we put 30 as a starting point and 25 in the randomizer, we will get a bunch of different sizes coming out between 5 and 55. End size is the size of the particle when it dissipates. If we put a 1 in the end size, every particle, no matter what size they spawned at, will shrink into nothingness. Let's put a 10 in there and a 5 in the randomizer. Start spin is a rotation of the particle when it is spawned. So if we put a 4 and 5
really cool.
in the randomizer, you can see them coming out at different rotations, which is easier to see if we use something straight, like one of the images from our barrier animation. End spin is the rotation when it dissipates. So if we change the start spin to 0
so cool.
and put a 90 in the randomizer on the end spin, you can see all the particles rotate as they dissipate. Gravity is a wind force on the particles, and these are settings for X and Y. So if we put a 25 in the X-axis setting, the particles will dissipate along the positive direction of the X-axis. And if we put negative 45 in the Y setting, you see that they get blown down along the negative direction of the y-axis.
Nice.
So let's change that back to 0. Radial acceleration is how much acceleration away from the point of emission is given to the particle. So putting 140 in there really gets them moving. And we can randomize the acceleration.
I don't know what he just said.
Away from the point. Radial acceleration is how much acceleration away from the point of emission is given to the particle. So putting 140 in there really gets them moving. And we can randomize the acceleration as well. Let's change those back to 0. Speed is...
So, it looks like it saves it after. So, like if I put 20, right? That doesn't apply till I move out of that box. Okay. What do you got, 0?
The initial speed of the particles when they spawn, and that can also be randomized. The angle setting is the initial direction of travel of the particles. So changing this from 0
Sure. Negative
90 to 180 to 90 demonstrates that well. And of course, we can randomize the angle. Let's throw 45 in there for a big fanning spray of particles. Life is the lifespan of the particle before it begins to dissipate.
It's like 3 seconds.
1 and remove the randomizer. You can see that the particles last 1 second before they end. Let's change that to a 2-second lifespan, a 1-second randomizer. Color is the tint of the color when it is spawned and when it dissipates. Double-click on one of these pointers and it will bring up the color chooser. Let's change our spawn tint to red and our black dissipation tint to white and note the difference. Color variation is a setting to allow the variation in the color setting. So if we put yellow in our starting variation, some will be tinted yellow. And
still looks like it goes pink like the original.
How the particles will act once emitted from a moving emitter. So for instance, if we close the particle editor and select our character in the assets panel, we can drag a particle emitter into our character's default animation and have a look at those settings. I think it's easier to explain by starting at the bottom with group.
Oh, is that how they do like the
The particles will move and dissipate in a manner that looks attached directly to the emitter. Free means that when the particles emit, they are free to dissipate based on where they spawn.
Yeah, let's do this. Somewhere over here. I guess I'm just gonna close this. Well, let's just close it. We're talking about the character and
position type of the particles is how the particles will act once emitted from a moving emitter. So for instance, if we close the particle editor and select our character in the assets panel, we can drag a particle emitter into our character's default animation and have a look at those settings. I think it's easier to explain by starting at the bottom with grouped. Grouped means the particles will...
Wait. I don't have... Oh, emitters. What? Did I do object, animator, editor, here, character, go into it, get there's a particle, okay.
Move and dissipate. A particle emitter is how the particles will act once emitted from a moving emitter. So for instance, if we close the particle editor and select our character in the assets panel, we can drag a particle emitter into our character's default animation and have a look at those settings. I think it's easier to explain by start.
Right click? No. Command click? No. What? You saw that though, right? It was like he he clicked something.
And have a look at those settings. I think it's easier.
Sent it back. I mean, I didn't know, so taking a look.
Explain by starting at the bottom with grouped.
Then edit. Okay, I see. Because I was using the coin box and Heath is using the character, that's why I guess I think I just need this default ball. Then I move this. I'm gonna move it here. Yeah, okay, cool. And then I want the angle to be negative, right? Here. But I want size to be smaller. And then something grouped. Is that what you said?
Grouped means the particles will move and dissipate in a manner that looks attached directly to them.
Grouped. I thought he was talking about the dude from Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, let's take a look. Oh, and it goes a little black because that's what I set it to. Default animation. It's the right spot here. Emitters edit. What? Do I know my way around? No, apparently not. What are you doing? Particle. Edit. Start size 45. Color. White opacity, sure. Relative, I like that. Ooh, free. We'll play with that one next. Close, play. Yes, this is cool. Ooh. Yeah. Okay, cool. I like it. And what was that last one? Relative. Let's see what that does. Oh, free. Free is the last one. Is he doing it now? I think so. See, that kind of looks weird, but ooh, should have been a game over. I wonder if it's possible to have it like right, I bet it is, right below, yeah, I could just move the particle down. Duh. All right.
Emitter. Free means that when the particles emit, they are free to dissipate based on where they spawn. And relative means the particles dissipate in a manner that looks attached to the game world and not the emitter. This setting most closely resembles real-world emission, like the exhaust on a motor vehicle. So that's the particle effects in great detail. Let's go ahead and delete this particle effect from our character's default animation. Also delete the particle emitter in our scene and drag in a new one before we talk about logic pieces.
Just to be clear, I think I already deleted it? Like it was there, right? Was it in that? All right, let's, whatever.
Logic pieces are items that dynamically control game objects. A path logic piece can force objects to follow its path or force our character to follow its path as well. Let's drag a path into our scene right above our particle emitter. Now,
I'm gonna control Z. Nope, that is not correct. So I'm gonna add a particle because I think I should. I don't know. What do I double click it? Oh, edit. Any of these say, any of these? No, I saw a video where the dude was messing with these. Oh, cool, perfect. So I'm thinking I can use different emitters. I don't want a coin. Yeah, particles, I guess. Sprite editor? No. I don't. Save. Yeah, cool. Okay. Let's go in. Well, sure, whatever. Add a trail.
click on this addition sign to add a segment of the path that we can place anywhere and in any direction. We see the handle of this path allows us to adjust this segment, or if we click on the larger addition button, it will become a joint between two segments. If we click on the smaller addition buttons, it will add a joint, and joints can also be selected and segment.
Mine doesn't have
Logic
that.
pieces are items that dynamically control game objects.
A
path logic.
I just did trail, but what I want is a logic piece. And I want a path. There we go. Oh, okay. I wonder if I can just move. Nope. But I can't. Can't move just that one. All right. And does that get rid of it? Maybe not. I don't know. Okay, let's go.
Piece can force objects to follow its path or force our character to follow its path as well. Let's drag a path into our scene right above our particle emitter. Now we can click on this addition sign to add a segment of the path that we can place anywhere and in any direction. We see the handle of this path allows us to adjust this segment, or if we click on the larger addition button, it will become a joint between two segments. If we click on the smaller addition buttons, it will add a joint, and joints can also be selected and deleted. Also, there is a handle that we can click and drag at the path's starting point, which allows us to move the starting point independently of the rest of the path. Or, if we click in the middle of the starting point, we can move the entire path anywhere we like. And I'd like it to be directly over our particle emitter. Having the path selected, we see the options in the options panel. We can name our path or adjust its position. The search radius is how close an object or character needs to be to the starting point of the path in order for it to be forced to follow it. You can see the change easily if we put 500 in there, but let's start out with 200 because if the search radius is larger than the path, it could force us to never leave it. The speed is how fast affected assets will travel along the path. Again, let's put 200 in there. And attraction force is how much magnet force is in each joint in the path, which maxes out at 100. So low numbers will make for some very interesting gravitational effects, as a path is simply a magnet force which can be escaped from with certain gameplay styles. Keep velocity allows the object or character to return to its original velocity once it exits the path. Image direction is used to keep the graphic of the affected asset pointing in the direction of travel. Play mode allows for some variations on how the path is followed. And finally, let's select our character
play mode
in the affected asset option. Let's test this path out. Pretty crazy, right? The path is invisible in the game, but if we turn on debug mode, we can get a peek behind the curtain and see the character follow the path. Now let's copy and paste some elements from other scenes and drag some points in along the path, and let's see it all come together. Alright, lots of great info for you in this video. Watch it as many times as you need to. And in the next video, we're going to get into animating menus and adding music and sound effects. So come on back for that.
Where are the coins? Did I not make coins? Alright, whatever. Guess I didn't make coins. Save.